sitting here, by a show of hands, how many of you have ever customized a pizza for yourself before? Well, thank you. You can put your hands down. I can see most of you have. What would the world look like if one day you could customize your baby, just like customizing your food choices? The term designer baby is defined as a baby whose genetic makeup is specifically created by their own parents. The process of designing a baby involves pre-implantation genetic diagnosis technology, also called PGD technology, which has been used to test embryos for cancer and mental retardation during the 1990s. Along with the rapid development of human technology, PGD now allows scientists to pre-select human embryos before being implanted in the mother's womb in order to avoid preferred traits including gender, health, appearance, intelligence, artistic and sport-related ability, or personality. Using PGD technology, all the genes which could develop into genetically inherited disease are removed. That way, babies are prevented from having anemia, obesity, Down syndrome, and Huntington disease. People's lifespan will be increased. Genetically designing a baby proves that 21st century technology has been developing at an incredibly fast pace. The study of creating designer babies provides a better understanding for genetic engineering technology. Even though all the benefits are undeniable, making designer babies to have the potential to threaten humanity. After using PGD technology to choose the embryos, if the results are not what the parents want, they might choose to abort their own baby. Between 2010 and 2014, it is estimated that 56 million abortions occurred each year. How much would that 56 million increase if creating a designer baby became legal and popular? 100 million, 200 million, or even more. Creating a designer baby is not a completely safe process because it is still in an early stage. It could cause a miscarriage, which would bring extreme emotional pain to the family and could easily ruin people's lives. Genetically designing a baby is a violation of basic human rights. Each individual person has the right to choose who he or she wants to be, and parents do not and should not have the right to take control over that. Free will of all babies need to be considered when it comes down to whether they would want to live their own life or the life their parents want. Having been designed, the baby could be good at either sport or music, or even maybe both. But the real question is, does the baby actually want to be this way? Human cloning, which is defined as a word filled with all fake and look-alike babies, also could be one of the most serious consequences. In addition, since the cost of the process could add up to $35,000 and even more, only wealthy people will be able to afford it, creating multiple gaps within society. Despite all these dangers, parents might still choose to design their own baby. Their decisions could come from either a good purpose, like preventing their baby from genetic disease, or an unrealistic reason, such as expecting them to be perfect. Their high expectations for their baby could lead them to the wrong but appealing decision to design their baby. Having high scores at school, attending a famous university, being good at sport and music, designer babies could easily achieve those goals. Being able to control the gender of the baby is also one of the most common reasons why parents design to use PGD technology. Let's take a look at some major events involving the creation of designer babies. The concept of perfect people was actually put in practice during World War II. Hitler, the leader of Nazi Party, was possessed with the idea of the Aryan master race comprised of tall people with blonde hair and blue eyes. Only those people who met certain standards of appearance can survive Hitler's wrath and those who didn't were eliminated. It is estimated that a total of 11 million people were killed. In 2000, Adam Nash became the world's first designer baby. He was born as a result of PGD technology in order to save his sister, who had Fanconi anemia disease. In 2004, designer baby became an official term in the Oxford Dictionary. In 2015, a research team from China announced that they would start practicing CRISPR, a technology that allows scientists to make edits in any part of the genome. And later in the same year, designer babies were discussed during an international conference. Many significant leaders from various countries expressed their views on designer babies, and the majority said that limits need to be placed on their creation in order to prevent a world full of human clones. In 2014, 29 countries, including Canada, Mexico, Australia, Brazil, South Korea, and some other countries in Western Europe had legally banned gene editing on human embryos. In China and India, some bans were put in place. United States and Russia had also set some strict rules on the technology. Countries in Asia have a higher probability of people choosing to design their babies. This comes from the preference of sons over daughters. In China, the number of males younger than 20 years old is greater than the number of females by 32 million. A survey conducted at Pew Research Center in 2018 showed that American people's attitudes on creating designer babies depends on the purpose of it. 72% of people said it would be acceptable to use the technology to treat a serious disease or condition that the baby could have at birth, but only 19% of people think it is acceptable to edit human embryos to make the babies more intelligent. UC Berkeley, located in California, had requested rights on gene editing, but they got rejected by a federal appeals court. This rejection of rights on gene editing indicates that even major institutions must set boundaries when it comes to genetic engineering. Clearly, California is making small yet significant advancements in limiting activities based on genetic engineering. In a survey recently conducted at Faith Christian School, 73% of people said they would not choose to create their own baby. 10.7% of people said they would. In addition, only 7% of people think designer babies are ethical, but 76.7% think that they are unethical. If society could draw a line involving the creation of designer babies, parents designing their own babies could be considered ethical. Parents always want the best possible life for their babies. But the question is, where does society need to draw the line? A line needs to be placed between using the technology for acceptable purposes versus only choosing the baby's traits merely out desire. If one were to cross that line, creating a designer baby would be completely unethical. The purpose of life would merely turn into a race of humans to create their perfect babies. Another issue is parents might become disappointed from their high expectations for their genetically designed baby, especially when their babies are not able to achieve the goals their parents designed them to achieve. This would cause so many problems to the relationship between parents and children, and could hurt the children's feelings when they realize they're not living their own life, but living for their parents. God is in control of everything in this universe. He is sovereign. Colossians 1:17 says, He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. Hannah's story in the Bible is one of the most amazing stories that demonstrate God's power in action. She cried out to God because she had no child, and she decided to make a commitment that if God gave her a son, she would dedicate him to God. God heard her crying out to him, and he decided to give her a son named Samuel. After that, she prayed and completely devoted him to the Lord. Her story gives us more of an understanding about God and shows us that everything is under His control. We just need to trust in Him and let Him guide us through our life, rather than trying to take control by using genetic engineering to determine the fate of the children, a job that's already taken by God. Although people are aware that everything is controlled by God, they still try to take control over it. Children are gifts from God. Their appearance, their abilities, and their personality are decided by God. James 1:17 says, "Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows." Creating designer baby is playing God. Instead of loving the gift given by God, people attempt to create their own dream babies. Ecclesiastes 7:13 says, "Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight, which He has made crooked?" In order to prevent a futuristic world filled with look-alike design baby, the government must be in charge of limiting and regulating this technology. Extremely strict rules need to be set, and the patents on human gene editing need to be limited. Scientists must take the responsibility for clarifying PGD technology and the justification of using it. Parents need to be fully educated on the process and risks that arise when creating designer babies. There must be organizations dedicated to educating and informing parents. The reason I chose to speak about designer babies for my senior project is because I know exactly how it feels to not be loved for who I am. My dad's extended family doesn't like me, only because I'm not a boy. I have spent 17 years of my life trying to show them that I'm good enough even if I'm not a boy. My freshman year, I won a consolation prize in chemistry in the Excellent Student Competition of grade 9 at the city level. My sophomore year, I was accepted into a top-ranking school of one of the largest cities in Vietnam. My junior year, I received the opportunity to study in America. My senior year, I was awarded a scholarship for 4 years from the University of the Pacific, totaling $100,000. I have tried so hard to achieve these goals that they never believed I could. If I can do this, so could any baby in this world. All babies deserve to be loved for who they are. Parents, ask yourself one question. Is it actually worth it to design your own baby? Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Before we open it up to the judges for questions, I just want to say I think that it is incredible for Jennie to stand up here, because how many of us could stand up there and give a 15-minute presentation in Vietnamese? Yeah, that's what I thought. So I think that it's incredible for her to be standing up there as a finalist, and just shows how dedicated she is to being the best that she can be. So well, let's give Jennie another round of applause.
The question I have is on that survey with the, and by the way, I agree, it's very good speech. The survey with the faith Christian students and the percentage that said that they would like a designer baby. How would you judge their answer? Did you know who they were individually, or why do you think they may have said yes?
So on the survey, I actually put one more question, like the reason you said yes or no. And some of them said that because they just want the best for their baby. Like they want their baby to not have disease, or like want their babies to have like the like good appearance, so like nobody's gonna judge their babies. But then I was thinking about like, we are Christian and we know that God has plans for us, and like no matter like how we look, no matter like we have cancer or like anything else, God has His own plans for us. So like why don't we just like trust in Him and then just like let Him guide us through our life.
Jenny, so if in this process somebody could design a baby and they could see the genes that cause things and like health problems like diabetes or things like that, and scientists could say, well, we edit those out essentially to create a healthy baby that wouldn't have that. Sometimes people will get abortions because they see things like Down syndrome or autism or things like, or genetic deformities, and so they decide to terminate the pregnancy and kill the baby. My question to you is, do you think that abortion rates could actually decrease because it would eliminate those people who would abort the baby when they saw things like Down syndrome? So if we could take out the genetics that cause sickness and malformities and things like that, do you think that would actually cause abortion to decrease because there would be more quote-unquote healthy fetuses being seen?
Yeah, it would decrease the number of abortions only if designer babies like become popular and that scientists start practicing a lot on that technology and make sure that, we are 100% sure that the baby is not going to carry the disease. But at the same time, along with the rapid development of human technology, we also can cure all the disease. Like not all the disease, but most of the disease are like being cured. So like why don't we just don't abort the baby? Just let the baby born, and then we might the technology might come up with a way to treat the disease. So yeah.
Any more questions from our judges?
Okay, so I think it's more understandable to say we can kind of see where people are at, that they want to make a designer baby for the health of the baby. But there's also people that are doing this, like you said, for reasons like the baby's intelligence, maybe their appearance, their ability at sports and things like that. And to me, that really gets questionable ethically. What do you think that speaks about our culture, that we would be okay with editing somebody who's really attractive or good at sports? Like, in other words, what do you think that reveals about our culture, that there are people that are for that and they think it's a good idea to do those things?
So my opinion is so the question for maybe you, back to you, or the question to everybody is who say that having those abilities would be good in our life? Nobody say having red hair is better than blonde hair. Or nobody say you know how to play basketball means you better than me. Nobody says that. And then I think society just trying to force us to think that, if you have those things, you're gonna be successful in life. And then they try to design baby based on those standards that they create themselves. But the Bible is the only source that we can trust in, and then use the God's word to use the gospel to actually think about, God said that no matter what color of your hair, what color of your eyes, no matter if you actually know how to play sport or intelligent, you just need to trust in Him, and you actually can be His person. And I think it's more about people now just don't trust in, don't believe in Christianity, and they just think they are better, their standards are better, and they're just trying to forget about all God's words. And I think it's another issue. It should be another issue that we should talk about, is spreading the God's word in order to prevent designer babies.
I agree with you, and I have one more follow-up question to that. So, one of the reasons I would think this is wrong, and we would think abortion is wrong, is because that baby is created in the image of God, right? And every person in this room bears that unique image of God, and that's why it's wrong to murder. So, I want to ask you, like, as Christians, we can go, yeah, this is wrong, we shouldn't do those things, but do you think that the secular viewpoint really has any argument to stand on? Because, like you said, if we see in our culture, hey, if you're good at sports, or you're good at singing, or you're attractive, you're going to be successful. And so I think if you don't have the Christian worldview, and you don't have the idea that this baby is in the image of God, do you think, in other words, does a person who does not believe in God, that does not believe that humans are the image of God, do they have any reason not to do this? Because it would seem to me that as our cultures have kind of rejected the Christian worldview, they don't really have any leg to stand on when they are trying to argue not to do this. It would seem to me we should just produce like the superhuman.
So there's going to be one question for them is like, what do they want for their children? Like they want their children to be happy, or they just want their children to like be good at sports and then be intelligent. So like they can be successful and then make money in life. And I think parents always want their children to be happy. And I would rather not having a perfect babies, but my babies can be happy, like even not good at that sport, but still playing it for enjoyment.
Thank you.
Trying to think how to word it. So if we're saying that the real problem here is not that the technology exists, right? Because the technology can be used for good, then what can we do? What is the real problem in society, and what can we do on a grassroots level, on a personal level, and then if someone catches the vision to take it nationally, internationally, what should be our focus to prevent this from becoming more of a global problem?
So for individually, I believe that most of people in here, after hearing about my presentation, have gone to the decisions that they're not going to have a designer baby in their life. And for global, so in college, I'm going to major in biochemistry, and I believe at one point in college, I can just bring the presentation up one more time, and then there would be maybe 100 more people know about it. And if any of us, just one of us, just come to 2 or 3 people and says, "Oh, my friend just told me about designer baby, and I think we shouldn't do it," and then just I think we have 60 people in this room. It's going to be 240 people to know about it. And we just keep doing it, and I believe in a few years, actually, it can actually affect the global opinions, And also, Luke has mentioned that people spend a lot of time on their phone. So sorry. and why don't we just maybe when you post my presentation on Facebook, if one of us just link it to the Instagram or the Facebook and say, "Hey, check it out, my friend's talking about designer babies and I don't think it's ethical, just go and see and make your decision." I think we actually can.
And how can we address the issue that we tend to believe as a society that people who are more attractive, who are better at sports, who are known to be intelligent, have a higher IQ, make more money, that is happiness? How can we combat that lie?
Can you actually rephrase the question? Because I'm so lost right now.
You want me to reword it? Is that what you're saying? Okay. So if the problem is that parents think that they just want the best for their baby, right? And we're talking beyond the medical side of it. Talking intelligence, athletic ability, financial success, that sort of thing. So if parents think that creating that perfect little human being will make them happy, and we know differently, right? How can we combat the lie that perfection, in the world's eyes, equals happiness?
So I think what the best way to do it is just come up to like somebody think happiness defined as like intelligent and then artistic and sport related ability. Just come up to them and ask, so are you sure you being successful in life because of those things you would be happy? Just ask them that question and then make them think about it, because I didn't come up with the statistic, but I've seen a survey that like about half of the people who are actually successful in life, they don't find happiness in their life, because like their life's gonna be like busy or trying to make money, be so intelligent, so like everybody knows about them, and then if they become famous, maybe the happiness just like just go away. Simple is happiness, by the way, so just live a simple life.
Alrighty, let's give Jennie another round of applause.